In the heart of Louisville, Kentucky, stands a building that is more than just bricks and mortar, a place where suffering, death, and sorrow lingered long after the doors closed. This is the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, once a beacon of hope for those suffering from the White Plague, tuberculosis, but now it's known as one of the most haunted places in America. Thousands of people came here hoping for a cure, but many never left. Their spirits are said to roam the hallways even today. Welcome to the Ghosts of Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a chilling story of disease, death, and the supernatural. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is located in Louisville, Kentucky, and it opened in 1910 as a small two-story hospital. But by the 1920s, tuberculosis had reached epidemic proportions in the United States, and the hospital needed to expand to accommodate the overwhelming number of patients. Tuberculosis, also known as the White Plague, was a highly infectious disease that attacked the lungs and led to a slow and painful death. There were no antibiotics or cures back then, so Waverly Hills became a place where people came to die. At its peak, the hospital could house over 400 patients, and it was a self-contained world with its own zip code, post office, and farm. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly, but with so many deaths occurring every day, the atmosphere inside became one of fear and despair. By the time it closed in 1961, it is estimated that over 8,000 people had died at Waverly Hills. With so many people dying, Waverly Hills developed an eerie solution to keep morale up: the body chute. This long, dark tunnel, over 500 feet long, was designed to secretly transport bodies out of the hospital to avoid scaring the living patients. Each day, bodies would be loaded onto carts and wheeled down the tunnel to be collected by hearses or crematoriums at the other end. It was cold, clinical, and terrifyingly efficient. Over the years, this tunnel has become one of the most haunted parts of Waverly Hills. People report hearing screams, footsteps, and voices when no one is there. Paranormal investigators have captured strange audio recordings and even shadowy figures moving through the tunnel. Some say the spirits of the patients who died tragically and painfully linger here, trapped in the very tunnel, meant to hide their deaths. After Waverly Hills closed in 1961, the building was left abandoned, and that's when the ghost stories began. People would sneak inside to explore the decaying hospital and witness strange occurrences. Shadows darting in the corners, unexplained sounds, and feelings of being watched became common experiences for anyone brave enough to enter. One of the most haunted areas is room 502. According to legend, a nurse who worked there hanged herself from a light fixture after learning she was pregnant out of wedlock. Another version of the story says she was pushed by a doctor with whom she had an affair. Some claim to have seen her ghost standing by the window or hanging from the ceiling. People who visit room 502 often report feeling intense feelings of sadness, fear, and even nausea. One visitor described hearing the voice of a woman pleading, "Help me, I'm stuck," when no one else was there. This room has become a focal point for paranormal investigators, many of whom have captured eerie audio and video evidence that something, or someone, still lingers there. One of the most famous spirits believed to haunt Waverly Hills is a little boy known as Timmy. Timmy was a young patient who died of tuberculosis, and he is often seen playing with a ball. Many visitors and ghost hunters have reported seeing a ball rolling across the floor or hearing the sound of a child laughing. Paranormal investigators have left balls in different parts of the hospital, only to return and find them moved or even thrown across the room. Timmy's spirit seems playful, unlike the darker, more menacing presences in other parts of the hospital. But even so, the sight of a child's ghost in such a grim setting is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Some believe Timmy is searching for his parents who may have died before him, while others think his spirit is simply stuck. unable to move on from the place where he suffered. The apparitions at Waverly Hills aren't limited to Timmy or the nurse in room 502. Many visitors have reported seeing full-bodied apparitions walking through hallways, only to disappear moments later. Shadow figures are a common sight, darting around corners, standing silently in doorways, or creeping along the walls. One of the most terrifying ghostly phenomena involves patients who are seen staring out of windows. Despite the hospital being long abandoned, people driving by at night claim to see faces peering down at them from the upper floors. These aren't just fleeting glances either. Some have described seeing figures for extended periods, watching silently from the darkness, and when they look again, the windows are empty. Over the years, Waverly Hills has attracted dozens of paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, and thrill seekers. Shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters have conducted in-depth investigations here, capturing some of the most compelling evidence of the paranormal. EVP recordings, electronic voice phenomena, are a regular occurrence, with disembodied voices captured on tape saying things like, "Get out," or calling for help. One investigator claimed to have seen a full-body apparition of a doctor in a white coat standing in a hallway, only to vanish as he approached. Others have heard doors slamming, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and even felt cold hands touching their shoulders. The activity is so consistent that many paranormal investigators believe Waverly Hills is one of the most haunted places in the world. But not all encounters are harmless. Some visitors have reported feeling a menacing presence, particularly in the body chute and the upper floors where the death rate was highest. One investigator even claimed to have been pushed by an unseen force while exploring the building. We can't talk about the hauntings of Waverly Hills without returning to room 502. Paranormal investigators who have entered the room have often reported strange experiences. Some feel an overwhelming sense of dread the moment they step through the door. Others report seeing shadowy figures lingering near the windows, or hearing faint whispers as though someone is standing right next to them. It is said that some visitors have felt a hand on their shoulder or heard their names being called. The stories surrounding room 502 vary, but one thing is certain: no one leaves that room without feeling something. It's as though the energy of those who suffered there has imprinted itself into the very walls of the room, and it continues to replay itself over and over, like a tape stuck on loop. Today, Waverly Hills stands as both a historical landmark and a haunted attraction. The current owners have restored parts of the building and opened it to the public for ghost tours and paranormal investigations. People from all over the world come to experience the paranormal activity that seems to seep from every corner of this building. But Waverly Hills is more than just a haunted house. It's a reminder of the thousands of lives lost to tuberculosis and the desperate attempts to treat it. The stories of pain, suffering, and death have left an indelible mark on this building, and many believe it is this emotional residue that fuels the hauntings. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is undeniable. Waverly Hills has a dark history, and the spirits of the past seem to be unwilling to leave. As you explore its halls and staircases, you can feel the weight of its history pressing down on you, and you can't help but wonder, could the souls of those who died here still be trapped within its walls? Or is it something darker, something we may never fully understand? The Waverly Hills Sanatorium stands as one of the most haunted locations in the world. Its long and tragic history continues to captivate, terrify, and mystify all those who dare to explore it. Do you believe in the ghosts of Waverly Hills? Let us know.